First Contact and Ultimatum. The massive view screen in Earth Defense Command headquarters flickered to life, displaying beings unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Admiral Elena Reyes stood with her back straight and expression neutral, despite the gravity of the moment. First contact with an alien civilization. The alien diplomat's skin shimmered with iridescent patterns that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Its four eyes, arranged in a diamond pattern, blinked independently as it studied the human delegation. When it spoke, the translation came through in flat, emotionless English. People of Earth, the Galactic Concordat welcomes you into the fold of advanced civilizations. I am Sovereign Xeltereth, representative of the 100,000-year peace that spans this sector of the galaxy. Admiral Reyes nodded respectfully. On behalf of Earth's United Nations, we are honored by your presence and the opportunity for peaceful exchange between our worlds. The alien's mouthparts shifted in what might have been a smile or a grimace. As is customary for newly discovered civilizations, we must establish protocols for your integration. The Concordat requires a resource contribution of 40% of your global rare elements production, as well as unrestricted access to your planetary defense systems. The room fell silent. General Marcus Chen, seated to Reyes' right, tensed visibly but maintained his composure as instructed in their hasty preparation for this meeting. Sovereign Xeltereth, Reyes said carefully, such extensive requirements would significantly impact our economy and sovereignty. Perhaps we could discuss a more gradual approach to integration. The alien's skin darkened slightly. This is not a negotiation, Admiral. The contribution ensures your protection within our domain. There are many, less civilized species who would view your world as nothing more than resources to be harvested. Our terms are generous. After the aliens departed, the Earth Defense Council gathered in their secure underground chamber. The room buzzed with tension as military and scientific leaders from every major nation debated the implications of the encounter. They appeared from nowhere, General Chen said, pulling up sensor data on the main display. 3 vessels larger than anything we've ever built, bypassing all our detection systems until they were in orbit. If they wanted to destroy us, they could have done so without warning. Dr. Amara Singh, director of Earth's Quantum Research Initiative, studied the readings with narrowed eyes. Their technology is advanced, but it follows predictable paths of development. They've mastered fusion and gravitic manipulation, but something about their approach seems conventional. What do you mean by conventional? Reyes asked. Singh's fingers danced across her tablet, bringing up complex equations. Humanity took an unusual path after the quantum breakthrough of 2083. While other civilizations might have followed traditional physics models, we explored reality's underlying structure. I suspect the Concordat has no concept of our phase shift technology or dimensional warping capabilities, so they don't know what we're truly capable of, Reyes said thoughtfully. Exactly, and I recommend we keep it that way, at least for now. Intelligence Director Kai Okoro spoke up, his deep voice resonating through the chamber. My team has been analyzing their communication patterns. When they think our systems aren't monitoring, their language changes significantly. The terms integration and contribution shift to words more accurately translated as subjugation and extraction. Reyes paced the length of the table. So the Concordat is less a peaceful federation and more an empire, Okoro finished. They identify isolated technological worlds, demand tributes that cripple local development, then gradually increase requirements until the planet is effectively colonized without resistance. Over the next 3 days, Earth's leaders implemented Operation Silent Shield. While conventional military forces were placed on high alert, a response the aliens would expect. The true preparations happened deep underground and in orbital facilities, hidden behind quantum veils. Captain Nadia Jung stood on the bridge of the EDS Phantom, Earth's most advanced warship. Unlike the bulky cruisers that patrolled the system openly, the Phantom was sleek, black, and completely invisible to traditional scanning methods. It utilized humanity's breakthrough in quantum phase technology, existing partially in a dimensional state that traditional sensors couldn't detect. Status report, John ordered quietly. All systems nominal, Captain. Lieutenant Rehan Kumar replied. Phase generators at full capacity. We're completely undetectable to the Concordat vessels, despite being less than 10 kilometers from their flagship. Excellent. Continue passive scanning. I want to know everything about their capabilities without revealing our presence. Throughout the solar system, similar vessels took position. Not the hundreds of conventional ships that the Concordat had undoubtedly detected, but the 37 phase-shift vessels that represented Earth's true defensive capability. Meanwhile, at the Quantum Research Facility beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Singh supervised the activation of the planetary shield grid. Unlike traditional energy barriers, this system worked by shifting targeted areas into a partial phase state where conventional weapons would pass through harmlessly. Power distribution at 70%, her assistant reported. We'll reach full coverage capability within 6 days if we maintain current deployment rates. Singh nodded, watching as green indicators spread across the global map. The Concordat gave us 2 weeks to prepare our initial contribution. That should be enough time. On the 7th day, the Concordat vessels deployed scanning probes toward Earth's surface. Admiral Rise watched their trajectories from command headquarters. They're targeting our primary research facilities, General Chen observed, including the Himalayan complex and the Mariana Trench installation. Rise nodded. They're looking for our true capabilities. Time to show them just enough to make them reconsider their approach. She opened a secure channel. Dr. Singh, implement limited shield activation around targeted facilities. Let's give our visitors something to think about. As the Concordat probes approached Earth's most sensitive installations, they encountered something unexpected. Their scanning beams simply vanished, as if the targeted areas didn't exist. In orbit, Sovereign Excel Tarath received the reports with growing concern. Perhaps this primitive world wouldn't be as easy to subjugate as initially believed. Part 2. The Hidden Advantage. The Concordat delegation returned to Earth Defense Command exactly 14 days after their initial appearance. This time, Sovereign Excel Tarath brought a military commander, a towering figure with chitinous armor and eyes that glowed with an internal light. This is War Executor Vraknar, Excel Tarath introduced. He oversees resource acquisition for newly integrated worlds. Admiral Rise caught the shift in terminology from the previous contribution to acquisition. She maintained her diplomatic posture while mentally reviewing the defensive readiness reports she'd received that morning. The planetary shield grid had reached 89% coverage, and all phase shift vessels were stationed at strategic points throughout the system. We are prepared to discuss Earth's role within the Concordat, Rice said carefully. Our representatives have prepared a proposal for limited resource sharing and cultural exchange. War Executor Vraknar made a sound that the translation system rendered as something between a laugh and a snarl. Your proposal is irrelevant. Our scans have determined your world possesses significant quantities of element 142, which you call titanium. We will require 70% of your global reserves. 70% would collapse our industrial infrastructure, General Chen interjected. The original request was 40% of production, not reserves. Zeltarath's skin rippled with dark patterns. Circumstances have evolved. We have also detected unusual energy signatures around several of your research facilities. Your world appears to possess technologies you have not disclosed. Dr. Singh, who had insisted on attending this meeting despite security concerns, spoke up. Our energy research is still experimental. Perhaps your sensors detected our quantum stability fields, which help contain high-energy reactions. It was a calculated half-truth. The quantum stability fields were actually the edges of their phase-shift shields becoming momentarily visible when the Concordat's probes encountered them. Vraknar leaned forward, his armored exoskeleton creaking. You will provide complete access to these quantum stability fields as part of your integration package. We would be happy to share research once it's properly developed, Reyes countered smoothly, but rushing experimental technology could be dangerous for all parties. After another hour of tense discussion, the aliens departed with a new ultimatum. Earth had 3 days to begin resource transfer and technology sharing, or the Concordat would reassess Earth's integration status. Once the aliens were gone, Admiral Reyes convened an emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council. Intelligence Director Okoro presented disturbing findings. We've intercepted communications between their vessels and what appears to be their main fleet beyond our system. They're describing Earth as a Class 3 acquisition with unexpectedly advanced but manageable defense capabilities. They've already scheduled resource extraction teams to arrive within 1 week. Captain Zhang's holographic image appeared above the table, transmitted securely from the Phantom. My ship has been monitoring their flagship. They're powering weapons systems and reconfiguring their shields. I don't think they're planning to wait 3 days. Dr. Singh pulled up a 3D model of Earth showing the shield coverage. We're at 92% capacity. Full planetary coverage will be achieved in approximately 14 hours. Admiral Reyes studied the reports before making her decision. We need to change our approach. Instead of appearing completely vulnerable or revealing our full capabilities, we'll demonstrate just enough strength to make them reconsider. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a research facility hidden beneath the abyssal plain, the most secretive of Earth's projects accelerated toward completion. Dr. Victor Okafor supervised as technicians made final adjustments to the quantum displacement array, a system capable of shifting matter between dimensional phases on a massive scale. Calibration complete, announced Senior Engineer Lin Wei. The QDA can now target objects up to the size of a small moon. Dr. Okafor nodded, watching as the massive array hummed with power. Let's hope we never have to use it, but if the Concordat forces our hand. In orbit, Captain Zhang received new orders. The Phantom and its sister ships would move into position around the Concordat vessels, ready to reveal themselves if necessary. Quantum cloak functioning at optimal levels, Lieutenant Kumar reported. We're effectively invisible, not just to sensors, but to the electromagnetic spectrum itself. Zhang nodded. Keep us in position. Weapon systems on standby but inactive. 30 hours later, the Concordat made their move. Without warning, their vessels deployed hundreds of smaller craft toward Earth's surface, targeting major population centers and military installations. Admiral Reyes watched the tactical display with grim determination. They're starting their invasion early. Implement Shield Protocol Alpha. Across Earth, the quantum shield grid activated. As the alien craft descended into the atmosphere, they encountered what appeared to be normal resistance at first. Conventional defense systems, fighter jets, anti-aircraft fire. Then, as they approached their targets, something impossible happened. Their weapons simply passed through buildings and military bases without causing damage, as if firing at ghosts. In orbit, War Executive Vraknar received increasingly confused reports from his invasion force. Impossible, he snarled. Their defensive technology cannot be this advanced. Sovereign Axel Tereth's skin had turned a pale blue, a sign of extreme stress in his species. Our intelligence indicated they were at least 3 centuries from achieving phase manipulation. How could we have miscalculated so severely? The answer came moments later when their sensors detected energy spikes surrounding their vessels. Where empty space had existed seconds before, 7 sleek black ships appeared, their hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light. They had been there all along, invisible not through cloaking technology, but by existing partially in another dimensional phase. Captain Zhang opened a communication channel to the Concordat flagship. This is Captain Nadia Zhang of the Earth defense ship Phantom. Your attack on our planet constitutes an act of war. We request your immediate withdrawal from Earth's orbit. On the main screen of Earth Defense Command, Admiral Reyes watched as the Concordat vessels frantically adjusted their shields and weapons systems. They fired at the Phantom, but the energy beams passed harmlessly through its hull. Time to show them what we're truly capable of, Rise said quietly. Captain Jung, you are authorized to implement Silent Thunder. Humanity's warning. Captain Jung received the authorization code with a mixture of resolve and trepidation. Silent Thunder was a demonstration, not an attack, but it would reveal capabilities that would forever change how the galaxy viewed Earth. Acknowledged, Admiral. Implementing Silent Thunder in 30 seconds. The 7 phase shift vessels moved in perfect synchronization, taking positions that formed a precise geometric pattern around the Concordat ships. Inside the Phantom, quantum generators powered up to full capacity. Phase harmonics aligned, Lieutenant Kumar reported. QDA link established with Abyssal Station. Zhang nodded. Execute Silent Thunder on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself appeared to ripple around the Concordat flagship. The massive vessel shuddered, and for precisely 3 seconds, a spherical section 20 meters in diameter at its center simply vanished, phased into another dimensional state. When it returned, the section was perfectly intact, but everything inside that sphere, crew members, equipment, structural components, had been rearranged at the atomic level, transformed into an intricate crystalline structure that glittered in the starlight. No one had been harmed, but the message was unmistakable. Earth possessed the technology to rearrange matter itself, bypassing any known defense. Open a channel to all Concordat vessels, Zhang ordered. On the view screen, War Executor Ragnar appeared, his armored exoskeleton unable to hide his trembling. This demonstration represents less than 10% of Earth's defensive capabilities, Zhang stated calmly. We have chosen to show restraint. The section of your vessel has been temporarily altered. It will revert to its original form in exactly 1 hour with no damage to equipment or personnel. Sovereign Seltareth pushed into view, his skin cycling through colors rapidly. This technology is impossible. No civilization at your development stage could achieve dimensional manipulation at this level. Your assessments of Earth were based on incomplete information, Zhang replied. Humanity took a different evolutionary path than what your Concordat has encountered before. We have no interest in conquest or expansion, but we will defend ourselves. Back at Earth Defense Command, Admiral Rise took over the communication. Sovereign Seltareth, War Executor Ragnar, we invite you to return to Earth, peacefully, for genuine diplomatic discussions. Earth is open to fair and equitable relations with the Galactic Concordat, but we will not be subjugated or exploited. The aliens conferred off-screen, their translator devices occasionally picking up fragments of their heated discussion. Finally, Xeltereth returned alone. The Concordat requests time to reevaluate Earth's status within our hierarchical structure, he said carefully. We will withdraw our vessels to the outer system while our leadership considers appropriate protocols for interaction with your unique civilization. As the Concordat ships retreated toward the orbit of Neptune, Earth's Defense Council gathered to assess their new reality. They'll be back, General Chen said grimly. Not today or tomorrow, but eventually, and likely with greater forces. Dr. Singh nodded, but they'll approach us differently. We're no longer just another resource to be harvested. We're an unknown variable in their galactic equation. Intelligence Director Okoro brought up intercepted transmissions. Their communication suggests they're already revising their entire classification system. Earth is being designated as a sovereign anomaly, with protocols that mandate diplomatic approaches rather than forced integration. Admiral Rice studied the tactical display showing the retreating Concordat vessels. Our demonstration worked better than we hoped. We showed enough of our capabilities to deter aggression without revealing all our advantages. Dr. Okafor, joining via secure link from the Abyssal Station, added his perspective. The quantum displacement array performed perfectly, but we've only scratched the surface of its potential. With further refinement, we could extend its range beyond our solar system. Let's hope that won't be necessary, Rise replied. Our goal is peaceful coexistence, not dominance. 6 months later, a single Concordat vessel returned to Earth orbit. This time, it was not the imposing warship that had first appeared, but a smaller diplomatic craft. Sovereign Excel Tarath had been replaced by Grand Emissary Pelvoth, whose credentials identified her as a specialist in exceptional civilization integration. In the newly constructed Orbital Diplomatic Center, Admiral Rice met with the emissary whose demeanor was noticeably more respectful than her predecessors. The Concordat High Council extends greetings to Earth as a sovereign entity. Pelvoth began. We propose a mutually beneficial alliance based on technological and cultural exchange. Rice noted the careful choice of words. Alliance rather than integration. Exchange rather than contribution. Earth welcomes the opportunity for peaceful cooperation, she responded. We believe diverse perspectives strengthen all civilizations. As the diplomatic discussions progressed, Captain Zhang's Phantom maintained its vigilant patrol beyond the moon, still invisible to conventional detection. Earth would engage with the galaxy on its own terms, neither conquering nor being conquered. Word spread throughout nearby star systems about the small blue planet that had stood up to the Concordat, a world where humans had developed technologies that defied conventional understanding. Some dismissed the stories as exaggeration, but most heeded the implicit warning. Earth was not to be underestimated. In the years that followed, humanity expanded cautiously into its solar system, establishing research outposts and mining operations, while maintaining its defensive capabilities. The quantum displacement array was expanded into a network covering the entire system, capable of protecting not just Earth, but all human settlements. Admiral Rice eventually retired, passing leadership to a new generation. On her final day, she stood before the combined Earth Defense Council and spoke words that would guide humanity's approach to galactic politics for centuries to come. We came to the stars not as conquerors or victims, but as equals. We demonstrated our strength not to intimidate but to ensure respect. And in doing so, we changed how an entire galaxy perceives humanity. Let us never forget the responsibility that comes with such power, to use it wisely, justly, and only when necessary. The Concordat learned a valuable lesson about the small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable star. Appearances can be deceiving, and some warnings need only be given once.